Artificial intelligence is making a huge splash in the world of higher learning. Easy-to-use technologies like ChatGPT, they let students create essays just at the click of a button, and it's causing a mountain of stress and confusion among educators over exactly what to do about the new technology. I look over here because Deanna Sumanek-Johnson is here, our senior education reporter, doing a lot of work on back-to-school issues. And we talked the other day about how you'd be back for sure to look at AI and how institutions and teachers and students are adapting. What are you finding?
Well, I think a mountain of worries is correct. When I spoke to them last year, so ChatGPT really made its grand entry into the mainstream around January earlier this year. So we're talking mid-school year. And lots of professors and deans were saying, let's just wait. We just don't know enough about it. Well, they've had a few months, not a long time, but some time to think about it. One thing I found, Heather, is I anticipated there would be policies. You know, we cannot use it. It is banned, or we condone its use. Instead, what I've found most universities have done is they've instructed their professors to make their own policies for their own specific course, because of course every course is different, and then relay that to the students. So they said as long as students have clarity, you can make it whatever you believe to be appropriate. Right. So one thing, for example, that I found that in humanities, in math, in the natural sciences, specifically in engineering, I found that a lot of professors have said, look, we have techie students as it is. They're using this as it is. Let's teach them how to use it ethically. Let's make them aware that, for example, ChatGPT has biases. They found against women in some instances, against certain people of certain backgrounds, that the information it spews out is not unbiased. It's not a pool of everything that exists in the world or something that you find by going to a really well-resourced library. So they said people need to know these things when they use these resources. And actually, some universities have a consortium of professors dedicated to ensuring that AI is used ethically. I got to speak to the man who leads this 5-university group. He's at Toronto Metropolitan University. Here's what he had to say about why it was important to educate students and educators on how to use AI ethically.
We need to make sure that it's regulated. We need to make sure that people understand when they're dealing with AI systems, what they're getting into, how it's impacting their decisions, how it's impacting their lives. And so we really need to make sure that there are programs that address that from the core.
He nonetheless called it a paradigm shift. He said, Heather, that this will change, as we can imagine, this will change education as we know it, you know. And for someone who did study humanities, I kind of love that idea of writing an essay. You know, it's been done for hundreds of years, so yeah.
On the other side are those who say there's no place for ChatGPT and AI applications in the classroom. What is that side telling you?
I have to admit that I found that side mostly among people who do study humanities, journalism, communications, and so on, where they say you can use it for sort of loose research, but not much more than that. One of them is Christopher Snook. He's a lecturer in the Department of Classics at Dalhousie University, and he said the essay specifically has a purpose, and it's an intellectual purpose. It's the clarity of thought. You remember that thesis and supporting statements, and that he wants his students to keep doing that because there is a reason for it that ChatGPT cannot replace. So it is banned if you're in Professor Snook's class, do not use it. It's banned. Here's what he had to say about why he's not letting his students use it.
Essay writing seems to me a kind of fundamental skill, not just for the production of essays, but really a fundamental skill for the production of a kind of human thinking and also a kind of human flourishing.
He likes this idea, Heather, of the blank page, as he calls it. And I think any of us who've written scripts as well for television, you know, that terror when you're staring at a blank page. But he says that's where creativity is born. That's where critical thought flourishes. It makes you collate your thoughts in a way that's organized. And he thinks that especially for young people, there is a real fundamental intellectual and human skill in that. So people like him are saying, sorry, not in my class.
Welcome.
But he does concede that it's going to be difficult to enforce it if they're allowed to do it in other classes, right?
Exactly. Deanna, so interesting. Okay, we'll be watching for your reporting with us and on the National. Come back anytime with more of your stories as you continue to look at the things that are in the classroom with this back to school underway.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Deanna Sumanek-Johnson.